Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back for the Silver League, and of course, Silver on Monday nights is the best league of the ALR franchise, I should say. Of course, I have to be biased because I run the Silver League as the admin, of course. But looking forward to seeing a fantastic Suzuka Grand Prix or Japanese Grand Prix tonight here in the 5th season of Silver, the 18th round of the 5th season as well. So looking forward to some action tonight. Gregor is on the circuit and he's taking us away for the first flying lap. It will be the first flying lap of tonight's qualifying. That is, of course, the qualifying format is a very short qualifying indeed. It's only 18 minutes long, and then we are into the race straight away as well. So looking forward to seeing what we're going to have tonight from the Silver drivers. I'm sure we're going to have a show. We have got 18 drivers because somebody has just jumped into the Alfa Romeo there. Prime is in the car. Bonjour from Gordo in the comment section. That is French for hello. As far as I understand, that is my extensive foreign language policy. That is why I'm definitely not going to be running for the foreign prime minister or prime something, whatever it is. Speaking of prime, he is reserving, of course, taking the place of Bradfield, who has dropped out of the division, unfortunately for Bradfield, not taking part anymore. But Prime there into his spot, has taken his place there in the Alfa Romeo outlet next to Cassell, who of course had a very good race indeed 2 weeks ago now. Of course, we had a break week in between this round and the last round, and that was Singapore in 2 weeks ago, and Cassell there did a good job there getting some points with a difficult setup. I'm sure he said he's not confident again for Japan, so we'll have to wait and see what he's going to be up to there in the Suzuka once we've got him on track as well. He is on track at the moment, but of course we're going to pay attention to Gregor, who's going to be setting the first flying lap in anger as we go through towards the hairpin of this famous circuit. Like I said, it's a very unconventional circuit, of course, because it's not unconventional. It's a very good F1 circuit in my opinion, but because it is the only figure of 8 F1 circuit, and I believe it's the only F1 figure of 8 circuit that we've ever raced on at all in the history of F1. That is as well. So very unique, this circuit, in that sense, but like I said, it puts a few good. We've got a bit of a slipstream coming up here, have we? Nope, it's not. No slipstream there for the McLaren team. He's just letting his teammate go through there. His ultimate beast there. McLaren now coming through the 130 yard towards the Casio triangle, the last complex of corners there before we get to the start finish line. And let's have a look and see what Gregor is going to put on the timesheets there for the first lap here of tonight's qualifying session. It's a 30.692 there for the McLaren. Good stuff indeed. Hello from Zealous as well. Good evening from Serious Mushroom. Good evening to you guys. Welcome to the lobby. Welcome to the race. Welcome to the qualifying, I should say first. Dylan there goes faster still with a 30.2, and that is on the medium compound tyres as well from Dylan there. He likes the medium compound tyres indeed around here, and good stuff indeed for car number 96 there. His LOI Fanjo, his LOI teammate, I guess I should say, or LOI compatriot, has put himself on pole position as it stands with a 30.1 there, of course, on the soft compound tyre. So that is looking good indeed there for both of the LOI drivers. Fandra there up into P1 on the podium, or on the pole position as it stands, I should say. Dylan there in P2. They're only less than a tenth away there from his amigo, I should say. As that's another very good foreign word for me to learn. There you go. I'm fluent in one word in French and one word in Spanish. I believe that is Spanish. Cassell there pops in there 136. I don't think that's represented time there for the Alfa Romeo driver. I think he's going to go around again. But he's got time on the board nonetheless. We did see a few issues in the lobby last night there in Gold. Thankfully, the race did get underway as Dopey Lemons puts himself up into P3. Thankfully, the race did get underway, didn't it? We had a few connection issues in the qualifying. In Q1, it caused a bit of a havoc, and then at the beginning of the race, it caused a bit of a havoc as well. But thankfully, the race did get underway, and we had a very good, entertaining race indeed as well. It was a bit of a wet one as well. We had. We'll have to wait and see what the weather's going to be like for this Grand Prix as well. As into the 29s goes Ultimate Beast there in the McLaren of 29.625, puts himself almost half a second ahead of Fandra there with a fantastic lap time indeed there for the Beast. And then of course he won in the, I don't think it wasn't the Singapore Grand Prix. I think it might have been the one prior to that one, wasn't it? It was the which one was that one? It might have been Monza potentially. We saw McLaren there winning in Ricciardo style there in Monza, I think it was, but potentially it could have been Belgium before that as well. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to reminisce and remind. It might have been actually Zandvoort, but there we go. I'm getting all the rounds mixed up there, but Dopey Lemons there up into P4 as well. Here comes Gordo, who's unfortunately invalidated on this run, so I think he'll be saving some ERS there to go back round once again. And here we go, we've got Zealous there on board with Zealous there through Sector 1, trying to negotiate through the S's here. Very complex Sector 1 this one is, and those curbs, especially on this game, are a bit treacherous indeed, and they like to spit you off and throw you out. As over the curb he goes on the exit, luckily keeping the car under control enough to keep him going in the right direction. That is into Sector 2 we go. Let's have a look. I think Gordo there having a few, no, it wasn't Gordo, it was his teammate there, Dopey Lemons, having an issue there after spoon curve. He's got himself back underway, and I think just letting the McLaren drivers through, so there is nobody blocking the way there for the drivers on the fast laps. Of course, it's very easy to get in the way, especially around this circuit, where you can't really comprehend the track map very quickly at race pace, or at the pace that these guys are going at, of course, because it's quite a difficult circuit to try and sort of negotiate which orientation you're looking at when you're trying to go around all the complex of corners that you've got coming up towards you. But there we go. Prime Zealous is now onto the back straight there, coming towards 130R. A flat out corner in the wet, in the dry, but not in the wet we found yesterday in Gold. But there we go. It was very different conditions as it is in qualifying. We haven't found out, like I said, just yet what the weather conditions is like in the race tonight. Zealous there popped himself up into P6 there with a 33.401. There we go. Equaz there, of course, currently the second place in the championship there for Equaz. We'll try and change the camera angle. There we go. So yeah, we can see Equaz there trying to take the fight there to the likes of Fandro there in P3, and of course the championship leader of Nigel there, who's currently not set a time on the board there with 10 minutes left of the session to go. But Equaz there is on his flying lap, his first flying lap indeed. So we'll have to wait and see what he's going to be up to then as he comes around now the hairpin towards the end of Sector 2. Well, the middle of Sector 2 really, isn't it? Because the end of Sector 2 is actually on the, just before 130R, and there's basically only two complexes of corners in Sector 3, which is coming up now. As we go around the spoon curve there, very easy to get the car positioned wrong there to go over the curb, and then that, like I said, the curbs do spit you out on this game, so it needs to be very precise there for the Aston Martin driver. He's been very precise indeed, and he's been precise all season, has Equaz there, as we've got yellow flags all over the circuit there. Hopefully that's not a safety car. We don't want a safety car in quality, of course, and we have seen that glitch come out before, but fingers crossed it doesn't come out today. Up to the line there for Equaz. He puts himself up into P2 there with a 29.764 there. That is just a bit over a tenth there from Ultimate Beast current time, who's back out on circuit, and that is, again, there is the Ultimate Beast, so he's looking to improve even more on that 29.6 that he's already set the first time on the board for him. Fandro is also back out on the circuit, and I think it's Equaz there just following him through. But like I said, it's a bit of action there unfolding on this one, because there's all sorts of different lap times coming in, a few different compounds of tyres as well being used, I would imagine. We've seen Dylan already set a time on the medium compound tyres. Here comes Cassell there to start another flying lap. He wants to improve there on his 1 minute 36, so hopefully he can do as well. Good stuff indeed. We'll run through the championship very quickly indeed. I'll just try and find the standings quickly as well. So let's have a quick look at this one there. So we've got, of course, Nigel in the championship lead, of course. Equaz in P2, separated by 58 points. So there's quite a big margin there for Nigel at the moment. But we'll see if Equaz or Fandro as well, who's Fandro sitting in P3, if they can eat into that lead there for the AlphaTauri driver. Then in P4 we've got Brabbit, who unfortunately isn't here tonight, so he's going to be missing out there tonight in the Mercedes in P4. Farf in P5, he'll be looking to try and get some more points for the AlphaTauri team as well, as Gordo's going for a bit of an excursion, it looks like, off the circuit, going around the spoon curve the quicker way. But there we go. Let's have a look at Cassell there, who is on a flying lap as well. But there we go. Beast is in P6 there. Dopey Lemons in P7. And Dan Murphy in P8. Pot Stuff P9. Camaro there in the top 10 as well. Good stuff indeed. Dylan, of course, a late joiner, but he's doing very well so far in the few races that he's done so far. He's he's up into 11th already. Bradfield, like I said, in P12, but unfortunately Bradfield is no longer in that Alfa Romeo seat. He's been replaced there by Prime. V Todd in P13. Reflection in P14. Irvine P15. Smithy in P16, and Cassell in P17 after picking up some good points. He's got himself out of the relegation zone. As Cassell's having a bit of an issue there. He needs to not block the pit lane entry because, of course, you can see a few people getting disqualified for that sort of thing. But yeah, thankfully he didn't get disqualified. Good stuff indeed. Craig R in P18, Gordo in P19, of course, rejoining the grid later on this season as well. Same for Danny in P20, who has got 7 points to his name, but he's not too far of getting himself out of the relegation zone as well. So it's not all doom and gloom just yet. But like I said, a few of those drivers, they're joining late in the season, so they will have less points to be, or less races to be able to participate in these events, of course. AlphaTauri lead the way in the constructors by 97 points there to the Aston Martin team in P2. Haas in P3 are 102 points behind the Aston Martin team, so they've got quite a big margin there between the top two teams. Mercedes in P4, Alpine in P5, McLaren in P6, looking to, well, he's only 2 points behind the Alpine outfit. So McLaren and Alpine looking to have a battle in the silver division, as well as, of course, in real life. Ferrari in P7, unfortunately for Ferrari. Red Bull in P8 as well. Williams in P9, and Alfa Romeo are bringing up the rear at the moment, of course, but we'll hope to see some Alfa Romeo points getting put on the board in the next few races as well as this one. So let's have a look and see how the qualifying is unfolding. Nigel, the championship leader, only P8 there with a 30.690. That's not good enough indeed. I'm sure he'll be saying that himself. He wants to be further up the order, of course. Kamara there puts himself up into P3. That's very good indeed there from the Ferrari driver. He's had some good performances in qualifying in the last 3 races as well as Kamara. Really picked up from a difficult first half of the season as the Ferrari driver, and both the Ferrari drivers there have started to get some good points under their belts, which is very nice to see after a bit of a difficult start to the season, like I said. But there we go, they've got themselves all sorted now. Looks like Danny is out on track as well. I think we've got Dopey and Nigel, they're coming back to the pits. Ultimate Beast is on track as well. He is coming back to the pit lane, I would imagine, because he's not got a lot of ERS there on board. That's McLaren at the moment. He needs to get that recharged and refilled so he can go again for another flying lap very soon indeed. Let's have a look and see what's going on in the comment section as well, because we've got some lovely comments as well. I don't want to see that. I just want to get onto the stream itself, don't I? Fandro is sandbagging apparently, says Serious Mushroom. Fandro there in P5. He's only set 1 time so far. We did see him go out again. I'm not quite sure if he abandoned that lap time or not, but he's coming back. Going to be going back for another attempt there. I would imagine very soon. Reflection retires in the pits, I think that is. I'm not sure if that's on track or in the pits, but hopefully it's in the pit lane at least. So that is all good. So there we go, brilliant stuff. Gordo said, I feel like Everton down there, says Gordo. I'm not quite sure where Gordo is. Where Gordo's in P10, he's in the middle of the table. He should be feeling like a Chelsea or something like that. So that's not too bad for Gordo. But yeah, I'm sure all the football jokes will start flooding in now, but we don't want to read them, of course, because being a Chelsea fan is absolutely appalling these days, I should say. But good stuff, great stuff indeed. We want to refocus on the F1 because that's what the most important bit. But there we go. Yeah, so we've just got people talking about what wheels they're going to be using as well. Good stuff indeed. Hopefully everyone's wheels are working for the race. Once again, yellow flags are fluttering, but I think it's just for people getting their lap started now, it looks like. Equaz there is the next driver to start his flying lap. So let's have a look and see who's going to be the next driver to cross the line. I think it might be who's the oh, that's Cassell. That's the Ferrari, unfortunately. So we'll go back to Cassell. I think it is. Or maybe it's V Todd. It's V Todd. Sorry, who's going to be the next driver to cross the line in anger. So let's have a look and see what the Ferrari driver can do. Currently in P9 on the grid as it stands. Of course, there's some people who have not set a time just yet. So they'll be looking to get their sights set in the next few minutes or so. We've only got a few minutes left of the qualifying session. So then that will be the qualifying format done and dusted. Of course, it's like I said, only a short qualifying session. This one. So once the timer has finished, that is qualifying done and dusted, and we'll be having that with the grid lineup, grid order sorted for the race. Right then, V Todd now coming through the spoon curve, trying to keep that car inside the track limits whilst not going too far over the curbs. He's managed to make it through, very nicely done indeed as well. Good stuff from V Todd. And now down towards 130R. The pace is picking up there as it's the fastest part of the circuit indeed as they come round now flat out through 130R for the Ferrari driver. And then now into the final Casio triangle. We've got somebody off of the circuit there as well. Hopefully they don't get in the way as he comes now down the down the last corner, well, around the last corner, I should say, up to the line. He's improved. He has improved there, up into P7 there. I didn't jump up for me straight away, so there we go. Hopefully it's Danny is retired in the pit lane as well, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to Danny there. He's had a problem, but there we go. Danny's qualifying is done and dusted as well. Is it silver weather, says Serious Mushroom. I don't know what the weather is like. Nobody's told us in the comment section just yet. Like I said, we've got 2 minutes left of the qualifying to go before we get into the race itself. But yeah, Vitor, they're improving on his time. They're up into P7 now for the Ferrari driver so far. Zealous has just started his flying lap now as well. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next to cross the line. I think it's going to be Dylan. No, Dylan's just going to be starting his lap there, so we're going to have a look and see if it's going to be anybody else around this order. I think it might be... No, it's not Kamara either. It seems like everyone's having a quiet time at the moment. It seems Fanjo, I think, might be the next driver to set a time as he comes around the hairpin now into sector 2, I should say. He'll be supported there by, of course, Serious Mushroom, who's cheering on the Haas team. Yellow flagged in sector 1. I think there's a McLaren who's had a problem there as well. I think it might be Craig R. He's got himself back underway. No damage there for the McLaren either, so good stuff. He can carry on. Round the spoon curve goes the championship protagonist there. Of course, he's looking to get himself back in the championship fight. There is Fanjo. Let's see what he can do now as he comes down to, or back up towards the 130R corner. Powering through there in the Haas, looking very good indeed, very quick indeed as well. And now towards the heavy braking zone of the Casio Triangle. They're coming through there very nicely and done indeed, clipping the curb on the middle part of the... Oh, he's off the circuit completely. He's gone round, he's spun, and you saw that. Well, we saw that coming really, because he went onto the grass there on the exit of the chicane there. I'm not quite sure what happened there to Fanjo. He completely went the wrong way, but he's managed to get himself back underway. Unfortunately, I think that is his qualifying done and dusted. He needs to get himself out of the way of the drivers coming through now to start or finish their laps. I think they're going to be starting and finishing at the same time there, as Zealous there crosses the line to finish his lap. And he's up into P10 there for the Alfa Romeo outfit. Fanjo there had a problem there. Serious Rushman, he was supporting the Haas driver, but unfortunately his Farf has retired somewhere. So yeah, unfortunately Farf not going to get a time in this qualifying session at all. Same for Irvine as well. So yeah, not very pretty pointless there this session for those drivers. Same for Fanjo. Unfortunately for Fanjo, he's had a massive accident there at the exit of the final corner, and that has cost him his place there. Cost him improving on his time, I should say, getting himself up the order, as he's now decided to just drive into the wall there. Unfortunately, that is it's not good racing etiquette there from the Haas driver, and of course one of the championship protagonists. So we're going to have to give him a slap on the wrist for that one. Not Fanjo though, but Beast has improved there to a 29.402 there to take the pole position as it stands. Looking great indeed, as Equaz there hasn't improved on his time, I don't think. He's not been able to improve on 29.764. Not Fanjo, I keep saying Fanjo because he's on the mind, but Beast there with a fantastic time indeed has got himself up into P1 as it stands. Kamara has improved, but he can't get himself further up the order. He stays P4. Dylan there is on a lap though. Let's see what Craig R can do. He's going to be coming around the corner, coming around the final few corners very soon. Here comes Nigel as well, looking to improve from P9. Zealous, I think he's done and dusted in the qualifying section. He's done and dusted. He's run out of fuel. Here comes Nigel though. That's Dopey Lemons there. I wanted to see Nigel. Dopey Lemons has improved to P5, which is good stuff indeed. Here comes Nigel, the championship leader. What can he do? Can he improve up the order? He's up into P6 there with a 30.0 there. It's not good enough there from Nigel, I don't think. He's going to be very upset with himself on that one. Here comes Craig R then up to the line. What can he do here in the McLaren? Can he improve, and can he take away any positions from the other drivers ahead of him? He's in P8 there. Stays P8 for the time being. Zealous is back in the pit lane, and Dylan, here comes Dylan. Dylan's the last one, I think. Is he? Yes, he is the last one. So he's going to be coming around the final chicane very soon indeed. Here he comes now down towards the start finish line. Can he get the pole position away from Beast? He's up to the line, but he can't quite get there. He's on the second row, so he cements his place there in P3. But Equaz in P2, and Ultimate Beast with a qualifying lap from the heavens there, I should say, with the pole position there for the Japanese Grand Prix. What a fantastic lap time indeed there from the McLaren outfit, and he'll be very pleased indeed for that one as well, looking to try and replicate his win from a couple of rounds ago as well. So we'll see what he can do in the race. We have to wait and see what the conditions are going to be like in the race, but There we go. Equaz didn't fancy sleeping this time. Of course, he did fall asleep there in the Singapore qualifying, didn't he? But he managed to make up for it in the race. But here we go, the Beast in P1 with a fantastic lap time. Indeed, Equaz in P2, looking to get himself further up the order this time instead of starting from the back. Dylan in P3 as well. Good qualifying from him. Kamara in P4. Dopey Lemons P5. Nigel in P6. A bit of a disappointing qualifying, I would say. What I would think Nigel was probably thinking as well from his point of view for the championship leader. Same for Fangio in P7. Unfortunately, had an incident on his final lap. Could possibly have improved. Craigar in P8, Todd in P9, Gordo in P10, Zealous in P11, and Cassell there in P12 for the Japanese Grand Prix. Right then, we are getting ourselves ready for the start of the Japanese Grand Prix very soon indeed. Of course, the drivers will be now selecting their preferred strategies, their fuel levels, everything like that, tyre pressures, etc. Making sure everything is absolutely perfect for the start of the Grand Prix. And of course, we'll get a bit of a look at the weather conditions as well. I believe it looks dry. It looks dry, although it looks very overcast as well. So we did hear potentially it was going to be a bit dry, but thankfully it seems like the weather conditions have remained in our favour in terms of being dry, that is. But we'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold throughout the race. Of course, 27 laps around here tonight, so we're going to be going through very, very soon. In 15 seconds, no less, we'll be underway for the start of this race indeed. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how it all develops. And will there be rain on the horizon as well? It potentially, it looks very cloudy over in Suzuka at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see if that's going to unfold during the race or not. But we'll have to stay tuned. Here we go then for the formation lap then. The drivers there will get themselves ready to get going. They are ready to get going, and away for the formation lap as we get ourselves underway for the start of this race. Right, let's have a look quickly at the tyre compounds that we're going to be using as well. Irvine there starting from P18 on the grid. Unfortunately, didn't get time in qualifying. Sorry, Irvine there didn't get time in qualifying. He's starting on the hard compound tyre, so looking to go long in the first stint. I believe it's there we go. The recommended pit stop strategy there: medium to hards, or the other way around, or even a two-stop, soft, medium potentially there from the predicted strategies. But I'm not quite sure if anybody's going to be trying to do a two-stop around here. I think they might even try and eke the mediums or even the hards towards a one-stop with the softs even as well. Potentially, we'll have to wait and see what the drivers can do. Reflection there in P17 there on the medium compound tyres. Same for Smithy in P16 in the Williams as well. So shout out to Smithy for hosting tonight, because of course, like Ginger Rage is saying in the comment section, the host of Gold yesterday was originally Farf, and then it was me, and neither of us did very well. So fingers crossed we can at least get a lobby together for tonight's race and the next few races as well. Dan Murphy there in P15 on the medium compound tyres, as is Danny there on the mediums in the Mercedes in P14. Farf opting for the hard compound tyres there in P13 for the AlphaTauri outfit, again looking to go long, so he's only one of two outside the top 10 who started on the hard compound tyres. Everybody else starting on the mediums outside the top 10. Cassell and the other Alfa Romeo there of Zealous there, P12 and P11 both on the medium compound tyres just outside the top 10. Gordo in P10 on the medium compound tyres, as is Todd then the Ferrari in P9. Craigar on the mediums in P8 as well. So let's have a look and see what Craigar can do there in the first stint. He's got Fangio on the hards in front of him and Nigel in P6. So they're both on the hard compound tyres ahead of Craigar. I think Craigar, if he gets a good start, can get past those two. He's having a bit of a trouble time trying to get himself onto the grid, it looks like, though. I know that's Beast there trying to get himself sorted. Dopey Lemons there in P5 on the medium compound tyres, as is Kamara Racer in P4. Dylan there on the hard compound tyres in P3, Equaz in P2 on the medium, I should say, and then our pole position, I should say, our race leader, not just yet, but our pole position said Ultimate Beast, unfortunately been disqualified from this one, is on the hard compound tyres as well. I think we're ready to get going, fingers crossed anyway. We should have the lights coming on very soon. Are we? Oh, we're away. We're already away in Japan. Here we go then for the Japanese Grand Prix. Equaz with a great start indeed, gets himself past Ultimate Beast there on the medium compound tyres. Kamara getting himself through as well in towards turn 1 as we go round the turns 1, 2 and towards turn 3. Kamara up into P3 ahead of the hard runners of Dylan there. Nigel up into P5. Fanjo and Dopey Lemons battling away. Fanjo's been clipped there by Dopey Lemons. There's been an incident there between the Haas and the Alpine, and they've both gone off before the third turn, or before the fourth turn I should say, as Fanjo there gets himself back up the order. Todd and Favre battling away in towards the first of the, towards the bridge now. Under the bridge we go, as it looks like Favre has got that position there ahead of Todd. I should change it to the position changes so we can see what's going on. Gordo's been dropped by Favre as well, passed by Favre as well, as he's got himself up 2 places though, as Gordo's done a great job indeed on that start as well to gain some places. Equaz has left the session from the lead of the race. I'm not quite sure if anybody can get himself an invite, or hopefully he can just join back I should say. Fingers crossed he can. There's Ultimate Beast off the circuit as Kamara's gone through. I think Beast there just having a bit of a snap there, oversteering. He's lost control of the car almost, but he managed to keep it under control very nicely indeed, but he's lost places because of it, of course. He's down 4 places already as Beast. He's started on pole position, but he's not had a great start in this first lap, has he? Unfortunately for the McLaren driver. Nigel there in P4 there has gained 2 places there to get himself further up the order. Much better from what he was expecting there after the difficult qualifying format for him as well. Equaz there, of course, sets the fastest lap of the race, even though he's not in the car. And I'm not quite sure. Hopefully, somebody can get him an invite. I'll tell you what. If I'll tell you what I'll do. I don't want to miss anything. You see, as Equaz has joined, that's a good stuff indeed. As Todd has got himself past Gordo there, up into P8 there for the Ferrari driver. Good stuff indeed. A great overtake before turn 1, or round turn 1 indeed. As they now come through the S's section as well. Gordo just needs to keep it calm, keep it tidy through here, and he'll be able to get himself back up the order. Cassell's improved. Unfortunately, the biggest losers we've seen is Fanjo there, who had an incident we saw with Dopey Lemons. Both of them went off the circuit. They've got themselves back underway. They're only 2 seconds off the back of the train at the moment here as well. They're not far off. They've not got any damage either, as well as we can see. Or it looks like we can't. There's no visual damage anyway. I don't think for both the cars. So it looks like they can carry on in this race without having to make any unscheduled stops as well, which is good news. But unfortunately, the bad news is they're back down the back of the grid after a difficult start there. Kamara's got himself all the way up to P2 and is now on the back of Equaz. Equaz has got himself back in the session, I think. He's back in the car, which is good news indeed. Hopefully he can get himself back underway. But of course now the gap has been extinguished there between Kamara Racer and Equaz. Dylan there staying in P3 after a difficult start. We've got yellow flags at the background. Yellow flags for Zealous. Zealous had a problem there at the Spoon Curve. I told you these curves are dangerous, and they've claimed their first victim. I think it's Danny and Dan Murphy, which places as well into 130 odd. Before 130 odd, the Aston Martin's already ahead there, up into P11 there after a good start in the first couple of laps there. Good stuff indeed there from Dan Murphy and Danny as well to keep it calm and clean. Zealous there's lost places there after that spin. He had a bit of a problem at Spoon Curve. It looks like he's got himself back underway, which is good news indeed. And there's no damage there for the Alfa Romeo driver. As far as we can tell, DRS has been enabled now on lap 3 we go. And now Kamara Racer, if he stays within that 1 second window, can use the Aston Martin and potentially overtake the Aston Martin for the race lead here. We'll see if the Ferrari can keep up with Equaz. Of course, Equaz is no slouch, and now he's back in the session. He can try and get himself extend that gap as well. Dylan there on the hard compound tyres managed to hold on to P3 after that chaotic start indeed, but he's managed to do a good job there of staying within that window as well, because that will help him later on in this race when the tyre strategy switch over in his favour. Of course, the hard compound tyres are a bit slower than the mediums at this stage of the race, but they will have a longer lifespan, and then that way he can switch onto the medium compound tyres, or even the soft compound tyres potentially later on in this race. Nigel there up into P4 as well on the hard compound tyres. He's being chased down by the McLaren outfit. Both of the McLarens there chasing him and trying to get themselves up the order. He's going to be under pressure, I think, from Ultimate Beast rather than looking to attack there Dylan instead. He needs to stay within that 1 second window there of Dylan if he wants to use the DRS there down the main straight. There's only one DRS zone around this circuit, unlike Australia where we had 4 in the 100% league. That was very interesting indeed. But Nigel there I think it's just stay within that 1 second window. Of course, the detection point is just before the braking zone of the Casio triangle. As Equaz there sets the fastest lap of the race, he's got himself back in the car. He's now got himself back underway and setting the fastest lap of the race there on the end of lap 3. Here comes the Ultimate Beast though. Is he going to go around the outside into turn 1 of Nigel? He's around the championship lead. He's gone round out as well. He's lost the car. He's off the circuit. He's got himself back underway after a very controlled spin indeed. But he needs to make sure he doesn't block any. What's going on here? He's ghosty. Thankfully, I think there was a few issues there for the Ultimate Beast. He needs to make sure he just rejoins safely. There we go. But he has now rejoined and he's behind Cassell there in P11. He's dropped out of the points there as Beast, unfortunately, with that start. And with that spin, I should say, he had a difficult time as Kamara picks up the first penalty of the session, and that is not good news for the driver in P2 at the moment. He's lost time there through sector 2 now to Equaz, and I think that might be almost the last straw there for the Ferrari driver to try and hold on, because I think Equaz now will probably be delighted to see that. He'll be able to try and push on there and use the energy there to try and get himself further up the order. And further out of the way there of the trailing pack, to be honest, because everyone seems to be pretty much bunched up behind the race leader. Unfortunately, they've just got Smithy. There's 2 seconds behind Reflection. They're down in P13, but I think that is where the gap is from the lead, of course, of this race. To be honest, Gordo there doing a good job there, trying to keep the gap down as Dan Murphy's now all over the back of him as well. Here comes Farf. They're Farf with a good start. They're up 7 places indeed. That's pretty good indeed in my book as well on the hard compound tyres as well. No slouch indeed on the starts is Farf, but he needs to make sure he can keep it clean for the rest of the race. And Craig R there taking the fastest lap of the race. Good stuff indeed from Craig R. Good lap indeed as well. Let's have a look here as here comes Ultimate Beast there trying to get himself back past Cassell into the points as well, but no moves being made there just yet. As again round turn 1 and 2, I think Ultimate Beast will probably be a bit worried about sticking his nose in there as well after the antics there from himself and Nigel on the last lap. I think there was very, very good respect there shown by both the drivers, to be fair, between Nigel and Beast. As off the circuit goes Irvine at the S's, at the beginning of the S's. No, that's through turns 3 and 4. He's got himself back underway as well, but unfortunate spin there for Irvine, and he's gone again because he's got the tyres too warmed up. As Kamaro's off the circuit also. Nope, Kamaro's been passed, I should say, by Dylan. Dylan's got himself through up into P2. Good stuff indeed there from the Williams driver. Great stuff indeed on those hard compound tyres, but now they've lost the gap there to Equaz. Equaz can now try and use this to check out in the distance if he can. As we're down the back of the order, once again we've got more spins there for Irvine. Irvine just needs to keep those tyres cool, and the problem with spinning more and more is that you keep overheating those tyres. Here comes Zealous. Not Zealous, it's here comes Ultimate Beast there on Cassell. He's got himself up into P10 past the Alfa Romeo driver as well, up into P10 there, into the points for the Beast, and now looking to get himself after Gordo as well. Gordo's dropped down behind Dan Murphy, unfortunately for Gordo, but looking to get himself back in this race. Haas looking good, serious mushroom. Unfortunately not at this stage, but I'm sure they'll be able to get themselves back in this one and back up the order as well. Not too long indeed, as unfortunately for Irvine, he just kept on having spins and spins after, as we got a spin there as well. Mercedes there for Danny. Danny's almost in the pit lane there, and not quite sure how he's managed that there. He's had a problem there, I think, has the Mercedes driver. He's got himself back underway. Gordo's has been passed by Beast. Danny's dropping down further down the order. Fandra got himself past Smithy as well into turn 1 and 2. And up into P13 now for Fandra, looking to recover in this race. Same for his teammate Irvine, who's dropped down the order. Irvine, they're starting on the hard compound tyres as well, so he's going to be looking to go long. He can still try and get something from this race. I think there's still some opportunities on offer, especially if there's a safety car or a VSC later on in this one. So it's not all doom and gloom now for Irvine just yet, and as what we can see, we've seen in previous races, he's got some pace indeed, as we've got yellow flags for V Todd, is it? V Todd's off the circuit in sector 2, under the bridge we go, and I think V Todd is now dropping down. He's got a penalty for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, because if he's made a mistake there, as he's almost gone into the back of Reflection there as well, he's got himself back underway. Zealous is retired on the circuit as well. Zealous has had an issue, and is that going to be a safety car? I think it might be a VSC. It's a VSC as I think as it stands, as Danny's had a problem as well. Danny's got himself back underway. Here we go up the hill on board with Irvine. Let's have a look and see what's happened to Zealous there. He's lost the car at the top of the hill, and that has cost him his place in this race as well, unfortunately for Zealous. He's out of the Grand Prix, and that is the first and only retirement so far. Unfortunately for Irvine, it's not a full-blown safety car, because I think he would have probably preferred that so you can catch up to the back of the queue. but we don't know. There might be some more more yellow flag action coming up in this race. We'll have to wait and see. Now we just want to make sure that everyone gets themselves back up to speed before without any drive-through penalties, and there is no drive-through penalties for the Silver guys. They've done a very good job there on that restart, because the VSC usually throws up a few issues, doesn't it? But they've negotiated it nicely indeed. Danny is back in the pit lane. Todd has dropped down the order. He's back. He's behind. No, he's behind Fandra now. Fandra getting through up into P12 there on that restart, and has got himself back up into P12. He's not too far off the points paying positions now. Can he get himself back up the order? Danny's in the pit lane, and what has Danny gone on to? I think he might have changed his tyres. He's onto the hard compound tyres. Can he go to the end from here? I would expect it could be possible, but it might be a bit of a stretch indeed. We'll have to wait and see how the how the hard compound tyres fare up there in the rest of this race. Zella saying, unfortunately, that went well. Yes, it didn't go too well for the Alfa Romeo driver. He had a bit of a problem there through the top of the hill, wasn't it? It wasn't the S's. It was, I think it's Dunlop, isn't it? The top left-hander of that complex of corners there towards the end of Sector 1. But unfortunately, there that brought out the VSC, and that is thankfully it's gone away now. Which it was going to be a bit of an interesting one. If we're going to see if that was going to be any strategy calls. It looks like Danny has made the strategy call there to switch onto the hard compound tyres and try and go to the end of the race. I would expect from here. Will it be possible? Is the other question. We've got yellow flags further down the order. Is Todd off the circuit again? He's lost all of his front wing as well as Todd. Unfortunately for Todd, he's not having a good time there. He did start in the top 10, but he's now dropping down the order, unfortunately, with that a few unfortunate incidents there for the Ferrari driver. Dan Murphy says the fastest lap of the race. Good stuff indeed from him. He's trying to get himself after Farf there in P6. And then we've got Todd. I think Todd is going to be trying to recover back to the pit lane to get himself a new front wing, and I think potentially he can do the same thing as Danny, switch onto the hard compound tyres as Dopey Lemons and Smithy switching places into turn 1. I was looking at Todd there. He's got himself slowed down for the pit lane entry, but like I said, hopefully Todd can get himself a new front wing and put himself on the hard compound tyres to the end of this race. No, he's on the soft compound tyres. That's interesting indeed. I'm not quite sure what the strategy is there. I'm sure maybe we will see a two-stop there from Todd, because I don't think the soft compound tyres will get to the end of this race, unfortunately, for the Ferrari driver. We'll have to wait and see. But there we go. Pit stops there for Irvine, for Danny, for Todd as well. But down the order, hopefully they can get themselves back in this race later on in this one. Dan Murphy there outside of the 1 second window from Farf at the moment. Beestead recovering, but he's up into he's only recovered to P8 so far. Of course, there's a few medium runners who will have their tyres run out before he gets to them, so he might be able to make out some places there before the pit stop starts to unfold there for the medium runners there up the order. But let's have a look and see how Dylan is doing, because he's got a battle on his hands here between Ekwaz there for the lead of the race, and of course Kamara Racer there looking to get himself back up into P2. Unfortunately, Kamara there has dampened his spirits there with the 3 second penalty that we added to his race time at the end of this race. Reflection getting the move done on Gora there up into P10 there before during the 130R complex of corners there. There was a bit of an argy-bargy there through as well. It looks like as Gora's got the place back. Here comes Fandro as well. Fandro trying to stick his nose in, and he's got the move done as well on Reflection. Here he comes now down the main straight there, but I think Gora there of course has got the DRS on the Red Bull as well. Here comes Dopey Lemons. Can he get a move on Reflection? Reflection might lose 3 places here after making the move there on Gordo in 130R. He's had a problem there through the Casio Triangle, and that has cost him 3 places. He thought he was going to get the overtake done up into the points. Reflection was up into P10. He's now dropped down to P13 with that move. Unfortunate scenes there for the Red Bull driver. He's the only Red Bull driver, of course, in this race as well, as Potslov unfortunately has had to work away tonight, but hopefully he'll be back for the next one. But Reflection there dropping down the order after looking to get himself in the points. He did get himself in the points very briefly, and then Gordo powered through. Fangio there with the DRS powered through as well, and Dopey Lemons there making the most of it around the round turns 1 and 2. Got himself past the Red Bull as well, unfortunately for Reflection, but hopefully we'll see Reflection try and get back in this one. Smithy there all over the back of him as well. Danny, Irvine and Todd are like I said, further down the order, but of course they've had to make pit stops and had issues there in this race. Dylan has dropped off the back of Ekwaz now, and there's over a 1 second gap there to the leader there for Dylan. That will be bad news indeed, especially as we can see Kamara there bearing down behind in the Ferrari there with some DRS assistance down the main straight as well. He's going to get closer to that Williams now as we get the DRS open there on the back of that rear wing for the Ferrari driver. He's now got the pace to try and get himself up after Dylan as well. Potentially he's not going to be able to make a move, I don't think, into turns 1 and 2 because he's a bit too far back He's going very deep there into turn 2 as well, but he's managed to keep the car under control just about. Very twitchy indeed. There's that Ferrari, it looks like. But now he can try and get himself back underway there, get himself after Dylan. He's lost some time there through there as Dopey Lemons and Gordo switching places as well. Now Fanjo's gone to into P10. They're back in the points now as Fanjo. Dopey Lemons there in P11 there. Of course, Dopey and Fanjo are the two drivers that came together there through turns 3 on the first lap. And they've got themselves, they went all the way down to P17 and 18 respectively. They've got themselves back up the order there, almost into the points there, back into for the Alpine as well. So it's not too far, not too doom and gloom there just yet for those drivers. And hopefully Gordo can carry on and keep up after his teammate and bring himself into the fray as well very soon. Same for Reflection and Smithy. They're coming with them as well. As Fanjo's had a problem there in turn under the bridge there. It looks like he's had a problem there at the exit of turn well, I'm not sure what turn it is now. Sorry. But Vandra there having an issue. Has he got himself? He's not got any damage again, but he's just had a spin, I think it is. He's got himself back underway, but it's not looking very well there for the Haas driver. He's had 2 spins now this race, and that has dropped him down the order once again. Thankfully, it wasn't too major this one. He can get himself back underway, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think it's just on the exit. That curve on the exit into under the bridge there. It really can send you spinning off, can't it? If you get it wrong. If he beats the car on that on the track there. Camaro in the pit lane, so Camaro's calling it a day there on the medium compound tyres. Very early call there from the Ferrari driver. If we're going to get a podium since Serious Mushroom, he's on for one at the moment, isn't he? He's got himself right behind Farf now. Here comes Camaro. The Camaro, I think, are the first of the scheduled stops. So let's have a look and see when where Camaro is going to come out. I think he's going to be coming out behind Fandro is in the pit lane as well. He's got 5 seconds speeding in the pits. Unfortunately for Fandro, he's retired in the pit lane, and that is him. Got pit and quit there against his name. Unfortunately for Fandro, he decided to give up there in this race, which we'd never like to see because that is just a bit. It's not sportsmanlike, put it that way. In F1, even if you've got a problem, they try and carry on to the end of the race, don't they? Unless it is a fatal error or fatal problem there for the car. But thankfully there was no such issue there for Andrew. He decided just to call it a day in the pit lane. So there's no technical issues, thankfully, and no human issues or driver issues indeed. But there we go. Camaro there has got himself back out in P13. So he is the first driver, like I said, to make a scheduled stop there. So let's have a look and see what Camaro can do. Can he bring that gap down, and will the other drivers around him start to pit? Because you can see now that Camaro has got himself a nice bit of clean air in front of him as well, and he's going to have to use that to his advantage to try and bring the gap down to the drivers around him. And of course, the race leader might be very, very keen on seeing where Camaro's come out. And of course, if he's now in clean air, he'll be setting some fast times indeed as well once he's got those hard compound tyres warmed up as well. So it won't be too long there before Camaro there starts to get himself on the gas and up the order. Craig R has followed the strategy, I think, from the Ferrari driver into the pits there for Craig R from P4. And let's have a look and see where he's going to come out as well. Onto the hard compound tyres as well, as it looks like around lap 12, lap 13, I think will be the optimum tyre or optimum pit stop window, I should say. Let's have a look and see where Craig R is going to be compared to Camaro Racer. He might come out ahead. It's going to be close indeed, I think, between these two. As we come down the main straight now, Craig R is ahead of Camaro Racer. He's got himself up into P12. He's got himself ahead of the previous driver battling with P2. So Craig R with a fantastic call there has gone longer in the first stint. Camaro there, of course, on a much warmer compound tyres will be pushing Craig R through sector 1 here, but it's not a very easy overtaking spot, is it? As Craig R on those colder hard compound tyres are just trying to get them warmed up at this stage, and Camaro there, of course, trying to get himself through, but I don't think there's going to be any moves made just yet. Potentially we'll have to wait for the back straight for the 130R corner, or potentially even for the main straight indeed, but we'll have to wait and see. As here comes Craig R now. He's got those tyres in a much better much better operating window, I should say. There we go, getting me W's and O's mixed up, but he's got the tyres in the as Zealous, unfortunately he's out of the race. Unfortunately, Zealous, he's left the session, but yeah, like I said, he's got the tyres now warmed up into a much better operating window, so potentially can use that to defend now from the Ferrari behind. More pit stop action there for the race leader. Equas is in the pit lane as well. Dylan and Nigel, of course, go through on the hard compound tyres. I think Farf will carry on as well on those hard compound tyres. Dan Murphy's also carried on the medium compound tyres though, so he's looking to extend the stint. Is the other Aston Martin, of course, the race leader Aston Martin is in the pit lane. Cassell's also in the pits as well. Here comes Equaz. Where is he going to come out? And where is he going to come out in comparison to the two behind him of Craigar and Kamara Racer? He comes out of the pit lane. It's going to be close indeed between himself and Smithy. Smithy's going to get through, I think, indeed. He's got the move done. Here comes Craigar and Kamara. Then no moves made between the two of them into turn one. It was very close indeed, but no moves being made. And Craigar has held on to the position. He's net P2, I believe, potentially, depending on, of course, when Dylan and Nigel do pit as well, because those two, of course, are on a different strategy. So currently net P2 as it stands at the moment, but Craigar now trying to push on and trying to get himself up the order, and you can see Equaz now on the cold hard tyres is really struggling to get those tyres warmed up. Craigar's took a second out of him in the first sector of this lap as well. Good stuff, and even Craigar is really going on, pushing on as well indeed in that McLaren to try and get himself further up the order, and it's looking good indeed there for the McLaren outfit indeed. Very good stuff indeed. Danger pit now, says Serious Russian. Tell him to pit now, scream at him, tell him to pit now. It looks like the medium compound tyres, I think, are the ones that are dropping off at this stage, of course. 12 laps have been, 13 laps at the end of this one have been completed. There is Dan going to pit, is Dope 11's Gordo going to pit, is Smithy going to pit as well. Of course, those are the only 4 drivers that are on the medium compound tyres at this stage of the race, and they are the only ones who are on the faster tyre at the moment as well. Into the pits comes Farf. They're on the oh, that's an interesting call there indeed. From the hard compound tyres, Dan Murphy follows him in as well. So he's going to be switching on to the hard compound tyres as Dan Murphy, and Farf, of course, switching on to the mediums indeed, I would expect. Anyway, Dopey Lemons has entered the pit lane, so Gordo has to stay out there for another lap. Of course, he doesn't want to double stack behind his teammate. Dan Murphy's jumped Farf there in the pit stops, so he's up into a net P4, wasn't it? Now, as they come out of the pit lane here, Dan Murphy there trying to get himself underway. He's being passed by Kamara as well, but here comes who's going to be next across the line. I think it's Cassell there. I think Cassell, unfortunately, a bit too far behind there at this stage to get himself up the order. Here comes Farf and Dan Murphy there, battling now through the S's. As here, of course, both of them are trying to get their tyres warmed up, but it's a lot easier to warm up the medium compound tyres than it is the hard compound tyres, of course, but just because they've got much more less durability, but they've got much more pace and grip at the starting phase of their life cycle. Now Farf on the medium compound tyres as well is the only one. Irvine and Smithy are switching places into the S's, and Irvine there, of course, Smithy just coming out of the pit lane on those much colder hard compound tyres. Like I said, it's going to have a bit more time to try and get those tyres warmed up. Yellow flags for who is it? It's Cassell. Cassell's off the circuit there at the same place as we saw Fandro go off. He's got himself back underway, thankfully, but he's dropped out of the points now. We've got Dopey Lemons there getting past now, as I think Cassell, they're just trying to get those tyres warmed up, has cost him the points paying positions as it stands at the moment. That is, Dylan is in the pit lane as well, so is Nigel. So both of these drivers calling it a day very early on the hard compound tyres. Beast is in the pit lane also, so he's called it a day as well. So onto the mediums goes Nigel, same for Dylan as well, and I think Beast will follow suit. Equaz there going to come down the main straight now, and let's have a look and see how close it's going to be between himself and Dylan. Dylan, of course, was right behind Equaz, I think, in P2, and I think they might have got an undercut here indeed. Let's have a look and see. Nigel might have got the undercut as well. No, it's not quite as close indeed, but Equaz there has come back out in P2. Dylan takes the lead of the race in the Williams. Good stuff indeed. A great call indeed there from Dylan as well, with a strategy to get himself into the lead of this race. Of course, once he gets those medium compound tyres warmed up as well, he will be able to push on there in this one and look to extend the lead, but he's got Equaz there pushing all over the back of him. Of course, the Equaz has got his tyres warmed up very nicely indeed, but look at this, as Dylan with a strategic masterclass there to get himself up into P1 there, taking the lead of this race there with a fantastic call. Equaz there onto the hard compound tyres. I think the problem that Equaz has had there is literally just the warm up on the hard compound tyres on the outlap is the only problem compared to the medium runners there, who just need to get themselves onto the mediums and get themselves going. Once again, Gordo is being passed by Craigar, who's pushing on now as Craigar is up into P4, or a net P4 now, as Gordo, of course, has yet to pit, but we'll have to wait and see. Is Gordo going to come in the pit lane very soon? I would expect he will be, just because I don't think those tyres are going to make it to the end of this race, unfortunately, for Gordo. He's going to have to pit at some stage, but we'll have to see when he's going to call that time on those medium compound tyres, as Gordo is being passed by Camaro there before 130R, and up into P5. Up into P5 goes the Ferrari driver. Down into P6 goes Gordo in the Alpine. Unfortunately for Gordo, I think, like I said, it's just showing that these tyres, I think, might be done and dusted. He's going to carry on. He's going to go up into the pits. He's carrying on, is Gordo. Good stuff indeed. He's really going to try his best on this stint there. I think might be looking to push on in this stint as well, to go on to the soft compound tyres potentially at the end of this one. or in the next 3 or 4 laps, I suppose you could say. We'll have to wait and see how long are those soft tyres going to last, as well as the other question. Out in the lead, Equaz has got his tyres warmed up now, and so has Dylan, but he's going to try and get himself back up into P1. Irvine there sets the fastest lap of the race, and great stuff indeed on 15 lap old hard compound tyres as well. That is pretty good stuff indeed from Irvine. That just shows his pace, and it takes the pace that the Haas driver has actually got in that tank there. It's just a shame that he had a difficult start to this race, which is a big shame there for Irvine. We can see, of course, he will get that extra point there for the fastest lap if he finishes the race, that is. And if he finishes with the fastest lap, of course, Gordo dropping down the order. He's been passed by Favre and Dan. And now Dan has got himself a bit of a challenge on his hands there, I think, because I think what's happened to Gordo, he's just slowing down. Gordo, just keep going, Gordo. You got this. Oh, he's almost off the circuit there. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Gordo there, but he's just losing places now. And I'm not quite sure if it seems to be he's coming too fast there for a puncture, I would imagine. But well, he has got a puncture, he's just said in the comment section, so I'm not quite sure what's happening to Gordo. Hopefully he can get himself back to the pit lane and he can get himself sorted. I don't know if the soft compound tyres will go to the end from here is the problem, but he might get another puncture on the soft compound tyres if he tried that one. But a big shame there for Gordo. He's got a puncture of 16 lap old medium compound tyres. They're really pushing on to the limits there was Gordo there, but he's been caught out there by the tyre itself. They've given up on Gordo, unfortunately, which is a big shame, and now he has to enter the pit lane there to get himself sorted onto a new set of boots, which is, like I said, very unfortunate there for Gordo. He's going really well. I was hoping he can get himself onto the soft compound tyres potentially to get himself up into the point pen positions as well. But here comes Cassell though. Cassell trying to make a move there on Dopey Lemons into turn 1, and we've got the move done there for the Alfa Romeo up into P9 there. Good stuff indeed. Softs are a no-no, says Serious Passion in the comment section. Gordo's got himself into the pit lane there to go on the softs. Now, same for Irvine onto the medium compound tyres though for the Haas driver. And V Todd there is, like I said, he's struggling there at the back of the grid, but thankfully for V Todd, and well done, fair play to V Todd as well for carrying on in this race. He's looking like he can get himself back up the order. Hopefully, if there's a safety car or something, he can get himself back in this race as well. We've got 10 laps to go there at the end of this one. And there's still plenty of action to unfold. Nigel there is now all over the back of Equaz. Equaz there dropping off the back of Dylan. Dylan's lost, or Dylan's gained. Oh, as we've got a yellow flag there for Danny, I think it is. It's Danny at sector 2 under the bridge again. And it just seems like that curve, I think, on the exit, it's the exit curve there. We'll have a look at it through Gordo's point of view. He's already gone through it, never mind. We'll have a look at it here actually from Irvine's point of view as I try and explain what I'm trying to talk about as we go around here through the exit curve. So the curve on the left-hand side there, if you get the car bottomed out on that one, if you go the left-hand wheel over the curb on the left-hand side and literally the bottom of the car on that curb, that's what's causing the drivers the issues there. They're spinning out as they go over that curb. As you can see, V Todd there has the wheels on the curb, which is fine, but if you go left wheels over the curb and the car will just bottom out there on the Nigel and Equaz. I'll come back to that battle. I'll come back to that comment as Nigel and Equaz battling away through the S's now as well. Here they come side by side here for the championship leader and the championship protagonist in P2, and Nigel's been spun. Equaz is off. Not Equaz is off, Nigel is off, and I think Nigel has been spun by Equaz there. I'm not quite sure if there was some sort of desync because it looked like there was a bit of lag as well, but Nigel there has had a spin. And he's off the circuit there, down into P8 there for the championship leader there. Equaz there had I'm not sure if there was contact or not, to be honest. I couldn't quite tell. It looked like there was a bit of lag involved as well, so I'm not quite sure who was if there was. We'll have to look at it after the race, put it that way. We'll have to wait and see after the race what's going to be going on there, because that was a big incident there for the championship protagonists. We saw the same thing yesterday in gold between the championship protagonists as well. Yeah, it seems like Suzuka puts up a bit of a fight there for the drivers there, but now on to lap 18. Nigel's got himself a bit of a job there to try and recover some more points there for the team. Unfortunately for Nigel there, with that spin, that's cost him, as you think. I'm not sure if it's Nigel there just having the issues there, or it just seems like trying to keep the car under control is a bit of a problem there for Nigel. He's spinning off the circuit. Is there rear wing damage there for the AlphaTauri driver? I'm not quite sure. That will be very devastating to his race indeed if that is the problem. We'll have to come back to that as well. We'll have to make sure. We'll have to make sure, of course, but we are not quite sure what's happening there. Equaz, in the meantime, trying to get himself past Craig R there for P2, who lost out to P2, of course, because of that incident there in the S's section. Craig R now up into P2 with a fantastic drive indeed. Far picks up a penalty there for the AlphaTauri driver, the other AlphaTauri driver, both of them having difficult times in the last couple of laps or so. Craigar losing the car almost there through the S's, and that is really going to entice Equaz there to try and make a move. Craigar just needs to keep it calm and collected there as Equaz looking to go down the inside, around the outside now into sector 2, but I don't think that's an overtaking position really, or overtaking place really, as once again we go through under the bridge. Thankfully this time nobody goes over the curb as Irvine sets the fastest lap again once again. Good stuff indeed from Irvine, plugging away at it as well. Yeah, but Craigar holds on to P4, P2 at the moment. Dan Murphy's got himself past Camaro there for P4, and now the Aston Martins are really going great guns indeed up into the up into the second row of the grid, but up into some big point scoring positions here. Podium there for Equaz currently, and P4 for Dan Murphy. That is looking good indeed for the Aston Martin outfit, but they would like to be further up the order, of course. Let's have a look and see if Equaz can get himself past Craigar there next into towards the 130-yard corner. No move's going to be made just yet, but of course they've got the braking zone, heavy braking zone of the Casio Triangle, and then the main straight to boot. Let's have a look and see, can Equaz get the power down on the exit? Nicely enough. I think he's lost a bit of time there to Craigar, which will be good news there for the McLaren driver, but not good news there for the Aston Martin driver as we go down the main straight once again in towards turn 1. I think it's going to run. He's going to run out of straight, is Equaz. Unfortunately, he's not got enough straight there to get himself past Craigar up into P2. And Dylan, in the meantime, I'll go back to Dylan because of course we want to give some spotlight to the race leader at the moment, but he's done a fantastic job as Dylan with a remarkable strategy call there, and he's got themselves a great lead at the moment. He's almost 4 seconds is his lead to Craigar in P2, but what a drive there from the Williams driver. Farf is out. Farf is off the circuit. He's had a smash at the top of the hill, a Dunlop again. It is a safety car. A safety car has been brought out, and we did think that might be the case if there was going to be another incident, and Farf has lost the car and caused the safety car, which has impacted this race massively. Now we've got only a few laps left to go, and especially of course with safety car laps as well. Gordo is very pleased about that, but yeah, like I said, we're not quite sure what happened to Farf there. It seems like he was not able to control the car, which is something that, of course, all the silver drivers should be able to do. So yeah, there we go. Just a nasty comment about Farf there, because he seems useless. Into the pits goes V Todd. He's on the hard compound tyres. I'm not quite sure what the call is going to be like there, as V Todd is going to be past Farf there. There's going to be 15 runners left in this Grand Prix after starting with 18. Prime Zealous there had an issue at the top of the hill as well, and that cost him his place in this race. Same for Farf there, as we just saw, and Fangio unfortunately decided to pit and quit, so he's going to have a licence point added to his tally there, unfortunately for Fangio, at the end of this race. But V Todd there onto the hard compound tyres. Will we see any more pit stops? I don't think so. Not for Dylan anyway, not for Craigar, not for Equaz, not for Ultimate Beast, but Dan Murphy, Kamara and Nigel in the pit lane. Let's have a look and see if Cassell's going to follow them in as well. It looks like he is as well, actually. Cassell's coming in the pit lane as well. Dopey Lemons is staying out. He thought about it, but he's staying out. There is Dopey Lemons. Dan Murphy there onto the soft compound tyres. Same for Camaro and for Nigel as well. Dopey Lemons carries on into P5. Dan Murphy's going to come out of the pit lane. He's going to be ahead of Reflection, who's Reflection's going in the pit lane as well. So here comes, and same for Smithy. Danny, I think, is following them in as well. Same for Gordo. So everybody is coming into the pit lane. It looks like at this stage of this race. I think they've called it a day there on this one. So that is going to be everyone down from P6 there, pretty much onto the soft compound tyres, I would imagine, to the end of this race. As Danny and Gordo switching places in this one. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Gordo. He's got himself back underway, but it looks like a bit of a slow release there from the Alpine drivers, Alpine mechanics. Irvine is back in this one now, onto the medium compound tyres again though, so I'm not quite sure what is going on there for Irvine. He's back onto the mediums again, so he doesn't think the soft compound tyres can get to the end of this race. There, we're going to have, well, if it was going to come in at the end of this one, we'd have 6 laps of running. But I think the field is quite spread out indeed at the moment, so we're going to have quite a bit of time there before we get ourselves back underway. I'm not sure if V Todd is catching up to the back of his queue yet. He's into the pit lane though. He's going to go on to the. What is he going to go on to? I don't know if V Todd's actually going to catch up to the back of the queue at this rate. It seems like it's going to be quite a bit of a stint indeed. He's now onto the soft compound tyres as V Todd. So I think he's gone onto the faster tyre now, so he's maybe just trying to extend the stint, as Farf has said some bad words there. Dylan missed a trick there, says Serious Russian. I'm not quite sure, because of course the four behind him have also stayed out as well on the hard compound tyres as well. Three of them, Craig, Equaz and Dopey Lemons on the hard compound tyres, and the soft runners might have a bit of trouble. They're trying to get through the order there. I'm sure there might be a few problems there coming through after the restart of this race. So the soft runners are going to be very quick indeed, and the hard runners might be having a few struggles. They're trying to get those tyres warmed up. So that usually leads to more incidents as well, doesn't it? So yeah, Farf better be worried, because if he's at fault for causing more incidents, then I'm going to be very mean to him after this race. But Vitod there onto the soft compound tyres now. He can get himself back underway, but he's got 40 seconds to catch up to the queue, so it's going to be quite a while before the safety car comes in, I think. I'm waiting for Cassell there to catch up to the safety car queue as well, but he's in P9 there and bringing the rest of the group with him as well. But Vitod, like I said, he's only going through the hairpin now as we go through the S's there for the safety car drivers. So yeah, but there we go. So we're like I said, the pit stops have been made. I think there's obviously no more point making a pit stop there for the top five anymore, because they will just lose the places now down to Gordo, down to Irvine, I should say. Of course, Vitod is not in the picture at the moment, but he's hopefully going to get himself back in the picture. So we'll have to wait and see when he can do that. But like I said, the safety car queue has sort of called up everybody else now, apart from Vitod. So hopefully Vitod can get himself into the queue, into the trade, I should say, very soon, and we can get ourselves back underway. It might unfortunately, if Vitod's not catching up and quickly enough, he might just give up on Vitod and just come back in. Unfortunately for Vitod, he won't be able to get himself back in this race. So hopefully he can catch up to the queue on this lap, or towards the end of this lap at least, because I think it might just call it a day and come back in anyway. So fingers crossed for Vitod, he can get himself back in this one. But he's not bringing the time down, unfortunately, to Irvine at the moment. It doesn't look like, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to Vitod there. But there we go. Right then, we'll see very soon if the safety car is going to come in at this lap. I don't think it is this lap, so he's going to be out for one more at least, which is good news, I suppose you can say, if you are Vitod, because we've got some more time to try and catch up that 39 seconds that you've got in the Delta. But like I said, it's good news as well, I suppose, for the soft runners in a way, because they can hold on to their tyres for a bit longer as well. But it's also good news for the drivers who didn't stop, because they of course have less laps to be overtaken by the soft runners as well later on. But now we're on to lap 23, so we'll hopefully get restarted on lap 24. What would that be? That would be 4 laps of racing, won't it? Because it'll be 24, 25, 26 and 27. So that will be the rest of this race. Hopefully Vitod can catch up to the queue at this race now, I should say, or this lap, I should say, because then we can get ourselves underway there for the green flag running. But there we go. Kamara went out of shape and went wide onto the grass. Says Farf that is the reason why he lost the car. I thought Kamara was ahead of him, but there we go. Never mind, it doesn't matter, because unfortunately the safety car has been brought out, and now we've got to restart this race. I think Vitod has woken up now. He's now caught up to the back of the queue, and we've got the order almost sorted as well. Let's have a look and see who's got penalties as well. Beast there, Kamara Racer and Vitod. Unfortunately for those drivers, they're not having a good time in the penalty situation. Up 6 places is Craig R. So my driver of the day candidate, if anybody's listening, for like Ginger Age, for example, if you could put a poll in, is Dylan, Craig R, and Dan Murphy, of course, all with good drives indeed. And I would have, I'd probably give it to the rest of the grid that are still racing, to be honest. They've done a fantastic job in this race so far, but those are my 3, Craig R, Dylan and Dan Murphy as well. So good stuff for all those drivers. But let's have a look and see. Let's turn this off completely. Let's have a look and see what how the race is going to unfold there on this restart. Vitod has caught up to the back of the queue, so it should be in at the end of this lap. So let's have a look and see. 4 laps of green flag running there to the end of this Russian Grand Prix, Japanese Grand Prix. I'm not quite sure where that popped up from, but like I said, we've now got we're going to have 4 laps there to the end of this Japanese Grand Prix. Dylan there on the 8-lap-old medium compound tyres. Craig R on the hard compound tyres. Same for Equaz. Beast there on the medium compound tyres as well, I think. And then we've got Dopey Lemons on the hard. Everybody else is on the soft compound tyres from P6 of Dan Murphy all the way down to P15 of V Todd. So let's have a look and see how the race is going to unfold there as we get the restart underway. Dylan, of course, now is the pace setter after the safety car gets himself back to the pit lane. But is parked up there, I should say. That was it, parked up there at the pit lane now. Dylan can get himself going when he wants to now, but he's gone early there at the exit of the Casio triangle, trying to catch out Craig Isle. Danny's got a 3-second penalty for cutting the court. How's he got a penalty there? I'm not quite sure how, but we are underway there in Japan once again for the second time because this is technically the first restart. We did have a VSC early on as well. There we go, no changes into turn 1 on the first lap in anger this time of the restart. That is Dylan trying to check out in the distance there ahead of Craig Isle. Craig Isle, of course, having the hard compound tyres on that car, is trying to get them warmed up at this stage of the race. But at the moment, it seems like I think the medium compound tyres for Dylan and Beast there are probably in a better window. Dan Murphy's not been able to get himself past Dopey Lemons just yet. I think the soft compound tyres are also going to try and going to phase out potentially in this race. Potentially, we'll have to wait and see. Are they going to be able to do 8 or 9 laps? I'm not quite sure. Of course, they had a few laps behind the safety car, so it's not going to be the same as race pace, but it's going to be tight indeed. I think those soft compound tyres, I think they might even start to see the negative effects in the next lap or so, potentially. Of course, the tyre wear is not very good around here on the soft compound tyres, so they do tend to run out pretty quickly indeed. So we'll have to wait and see if the soft can make it safely to the end, and will they have the same pace as they do right now compared to the last lap as well. We'll have to wait and see as well as we end at lap 24. 3 laps of running to be gone as Ginger Rage is in the comment section. Ginger Rage, can you do a poll for me for driver of the day? Dylan, Craig Isle and Dan Murphy, please. That would be great indeed. But there we go then, through the Casio triangle we go for the 24th time, or 25th time really, as we now complete lap 24, 25 lap. We're on lap 25 now. Dylan is still under pressure there from Craig Isle. Craig's doing a good job there of keeping Dylan honest in this race. The same for Equaz as well, but I think Beast is really the one pushing on at this stage. Further down the order, no moves being made just yet. I think the soft compound tyres. Here comes Dan Murphy though. Dan Murphy on Dopey Lemons. There's too many D's in this lobby. Those soft compound tyres compared to the 11-lap-old hard compound tyres, you'd think it'd be no contest, but it seems like the soft compound tyres are struggling so far in this race, or in this restart, I should say, to try and get the pace there set onto the tarmac and get themselves up the order. They still can't get the moves done just yet. Can the soft runners? They've stayed sort of status quo. I think there's not been any changes, I don't believe, unless I've missed them. But there's not been any changes, I don't believe, there in the order so far. And that is just big bad news there for the drivers there with the penalties, and the drivers on the soft compound tyres who took the opportunity to pit under the safety car. They could have stayed out and gained some places, but here comes Dan Murphy there. Is he going to try and make a move there around Spoon Curve? Not quite yet on Dopey Lemons there. He's trying to size up a move if he can there on the Alpine driver, but no moves being made just yet. Now down towards 130R into lap 26 we're going to go, but here comes Dan Murphy around the outside. He's got the move done before the 130R corner. He's up into P5. There is the Aston Martin driver. Good stuff indeed, a great move indeed. He's got himself up the order there, past Dopey Lemons now. Dopey Lemons is trying to cling on to the back there of the Aston Martin, and further up the order we've got Ultimate Beast and Equaz battling away as well. Equaz there is under pressure now from the McLaren, but he's trying to put the pressure on the other McLaren as well, who's lost time there to Dylan. Into turn 1 we go, lap 26, the penultimate lap there of the Japanese Grand Prix, and Equaz is in a McLaren sandwich here, and here comes Beast. Beast is trying to go around the outside into turn 3. He's made the move there on the Aston Martin. He's got the move done. Has Equaz, a great move indeed from the McLaren driver. Sorry, it was Beast who made the move. But good stuff indeed there from Equaz as well, who has not caused any issues. I think he's got wing damage there. Has Equaz? He's trying to let his teammate through, but it's going to be tight indeed here as well. And this is always could cause calamity here as well. But here comes Dopey Lemons as well, sticking his nose in. Equaz there has lost his end plate there on the left-hand side. That is why he's going slowly. He's lost time. He's losing places as well. Unfortunately for Equaz, his teammate has got through. He's trying to fend off the Alpine behind, and Cassell's got himself past Nigel as well as we go through into the hairpin. And like I said, Dopey Lemons there on the hard compound tyres is really struggling here on this lap. Here comes Kamara as well towards Spoon Curve. Can he get his nose in there? It's going to be tight indeed. He backs out of it, thinking wisely there is the Ferrari driver, but thankfully no harm done there for the Ferrari. I think that would have sent him into a spin if he did try and stick his nose in there. Of course, Dopey Lemons is going to turn in at some point, but But blimey, that is a one hell of a lap indeed. Like I said, we've got the penalties there situation for some of the drivers as well. Danny's got himself past Smithy, and Irvine, I think, has got past Gordo. I think Irvine could be on for a good shout here, to be fair, going onto the medium compound tyres. I know we've only got one lap left. Gordo picked up a penalty as well. Gordo's dropped down the order. Unfortunately, he's got a penalty for his troubles there. Hopefully, he can get himself back underway. He has got himself back underway. Dopey Lemons and Kamara Racer are switching places there down the main straight. DRS is enabled. Sorry. Get your votes in for driver of the day as well, quickly. But yeah, DRS is enabled there as we've gone on to the final lap there. Of course, that is it for DRS. It has been enabled for the last couple of laps or so. Yellow flags as Kamara is off the circuit. He's out of the race. Kamara has had a massive smash indeed there at the exit. Where has he gone? He's gone behind me. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Kamara there. That is him out of the race as well. Unfortunately for Kamara, he's DNF'd there. Favre said that he was a bit dodgy there on the rear posterior. Smithy gone into the back of Danny almost there. So like I said, they just need to make sure they keep it calm and clean for the final lap of this Japanese Grand Prix, and they can get to the finish line. But Danny there, of course, with a penalty situation. Smithy's going to get himself up the order anyway with penalties as well. So I'm not quite sure what is going on. There's yellow flags for Smithy and V Todd, and blimey, there's only going to be 12 finishes in this Grand Prix. I'm not quite sure what happened there as well. We'll have to review that after the race as well, but blimey, let's come back to that, because Dylan there is leading us away down towards the back straight towards 130R for the final time. Gordo's retired as well, so that is Gordo out of this race. So that is fantastic stuff indeed. But here comes Dylan there round the Casio Triangle to finish off. What a fantastic Grand Prix it's been there for the Williams driver. He's got the win there once again in silver, and that is a great drive indeed from Dylan. A great strategy call there for the Williams, and he's got himself the full points there for the race win indeed as well. And I think we saw both the McLarens go past there as well, but I think they have confirmed themselves on the podium. If not, I think he might have got. I think Beach might have dropped over the penalty there, but we'll have a look in the next screen. But what a finish to that Grand Prix! For some reason, only 11 finishes in the end. I'm not quite sure what happened there to Smithy v Todd Gordo on the last lap, and the same for Kamara Racer there through the S's. Whatever happens there, it has happened indeed. So there we go. On the podium there, we've got Dylan there with the win. It looks like Equaz did get that P3 in the end as well. And then, of course, Craig R there in P2 with a fantastic drive. And I think, I'm not quite sure, we'll have to wait and see if he is going to be driver of the day. But the poll has not closed just yet. So get your votes in. Last minute votes will be able to come in very quickly before Ginger Age closes the poll. There we go. We can see the celebrations there for the race winner there of Dylan. Craig R in P2 and Equaz in P3 as well. Or Dan Murphy, sorry, in P3. I completely didn't see that as well. Sorry about that. Dan Murphy is on the podium, and Sirius Rushman has predicted it right. He is on the podium in P3. Good stuff indeed there for Dan Murphy. Equaz there in P4 did drop back down, I think, on those hard compound tyres. Same for Cassell there in Cassell got himself up into P5, I should say. He did a great job indeed there. Did Cassell Beast there in P6 there with the penalty. That did drop him down the order, that 3-second penalty as well. Dopey Lemons there in P7. Good recovery from him as well. Same for Beast as well, to be fair. Reflection in P8. Good stuff indeed. Good points from indeed Irvine there with a horrible race. And actually, to be fair, a good candidate for driver of the day as well. But the fastest lap was 0.2. Great stuff indeed from Irvine. I was having a very horrible race indeed. He was right at the back of the order for most of it. And then that safety car really helped him out as well. And he got himself some points there in the end. Nigel there picked up a penalty as well. Not quite sure what happened to Nigel at the end of that race, but he didn't have a difficult. He had a difficult time, didn't he? Danny there in P11 there didn't get in the points, unfortunately, for Danny. Same for Gordo as well. Gordo is out of this race. Same for Smithy and V Todd and Kamara Racer and Favre and Fanjo and Prime Jealous. So that is your classification. Pretty much everyone DNF'd. So there we go then. But fantastic drive for the drivers who managed to finish the race indeed. Good stuff from Dylan and Craig R and Dan Murphy, who made it onto the podium places as well. Irvine has just said, yeah, I'll take that recovery. What a race indeed from him as well. Hi everyone, just joined. Hi everyone from Diggis as well. Diggis there supporting, of course, the Aston Martin drivers, and looking good indeed so far in this race. But let's have a look and see. I think we'll hopefully get some people joining the party as well. So we'll have a quick look and see if we can get an interview with some drivers as well. There was 1 second. Good stuff. I think we've got people in the party as well. So we'll start off with Dylan. Is Dylan in here as well? We'll have a look and see if he is. And then, of course, Dylan there is the race winner. So lovely to have an interview with him if he is available.
I'm here.
He is here. Good stuff indeed. Dylan, we were saying in the comment section. Well, firstly, I was saying in the race, you had a great start compared to the drivers around you. Of course, you're on the hard compound tyres from the start compared to I think it was Equaz and Kamara, wasn't it, on the medium compound tyres who were ahead of you, but you stuck with them through the first stint in the DRS zone, even on the hard compound tyres. Were you thinking that could be, or later on in the race, it could be in your favour then with the win, by staying with them in the hards?
Yeah, it would be in favour of them because of I definitely know I have a pace around here. To be fair, so I was able to stick up with Equator and Kamara, try to keep up with him as much as possible, try able to get the overcut on both of them. So happily got Equator for the race lead, and hopefully, pretty much.
Well, we'll come on to that because, like I said, you did a great job in the first stint there on the hard compound tyres just to stay with the medium runners ahead of you. But then that strategy call there to call it just right there on the hards and call it a day on the hards as well, and make that stop for the mediums. When you came out in front of Equaz, did you think firstly that you were going to get that win, or did you think you might have a bit of a fight on with Equaz to get that for him to try and reclaim the lead?
To be quite frankly, I was expecting a fight from Equator, to be fair to you. So if I get able to jump in from the pit lane, happy days. Like, I didn't even expect to jump in when I see him on the main straight. So yeah, pretty much happy to able to get ahead of him. So pretty much happy.
It was a fantastic strategy call there from your from a brilliant mind there. So well done to you or to your team, whichever one you want to give credit to. But no, it was an absolutely amazing race there from yourself, and of course the second win there for yourself this season as well since you stepped in to the Williams drive. So really credit to you for a fantastic drive indeed, and well done. And of course the next race is in a week's time. There it's at COTA. So what's your thoughts there for the Circuit of Americas in Austin?
It's a mixed track for me. It's happy and down. So to be fair, in ALR to me, it pretty much more up, like a podium in bronze. I think P2 in season 5, if I'm not mistaken, and P4 last time in silver. So hopefully keep a good trend going in COTA.
Well, we'll hopefully see you back up here in the podium interview. So that will be good news indeed if you can keep it going. But fantastic race win from yourself today, and I think you've got the driver of the day poll as well, as just to cap off a fantastic performance from yourself. So well done, well done to you. And Craig, I think we've got Craig as well. Craig, this is your best season result so far in silver. How about that one? And what was your thoughts when you crossed the line?
Oh mate, I'm buzzing like that's the best result I've had all season. Honestly, it was too good.
It was a fantastic race from yourself as well. I was saying to Dylan, like I said, he got the strategy right as well. But even you were doing the opposite strategy to Dylan, but you had had that safety car sort of buffer as well. I think towards the end, and you just tried to keep up the pace and did your best shot. But what was your thoughts then? With did you think that you were going to be able to keep hold of the podium, or did you think other drivers might be able to get through and try and kick you off?
I'm going to be honest, it was alright for most of the race, but it got a bit tight towards the end. That was my main concern, but throughout the rest of the race it felt like it wasn't too bad. It could have been a lot worse. My plan was just to kind of stay off the curbs because I kind of a bit shit around here.
Well, excuse the language, but he's a podium sitter, so we have to say well done to him. It's like I said, the curbs. I was said before the race started as well in the Discord. The curbs around here are treacherous, aren't they? Especially for Sector 1 and the spoon curve as well, particularly. But no, you negotiated them very nicely indeed, and of course, your best result of the season so far. You're going to be looking forward to staying on the podium for another couple of races in the silver season.
Well, that's the plan anyway. It's just if I can stay to that plan, it's a different thing altogether.
Well, hopefully we'll see you once again back in the comments box there for another interview in the next few races. Of course, we're now 3/4 of the way through the season of Silver, so we've only got 6 races left of the season to go. So, like I said, we're cracking through and we're nearly there. So, like I said, fingers crossed, we'll see Craig and Dylan back on the podium as well for another interview in the next few weeks or so. Of course, in a week's time, we've got the USA Grand Prix. Have we got Dan Murphy in here? Sorry, I didn't know if Dan joined us in. He was in P3, wasn't he? Hello.
No, he's not.
Nah, he's not here, man.
Here. Oh well, no worries. Well, like I said, Dan Murphy, well done to you as well on the podium. But like I said, we've got 6 races left to go of the season there. We've got USA coming up in a week's time. Of course, the Bronze League is back tomorrow night for more Suzuka action in Japan, of course, tomorrow from 7:30. And then the 100% League is going to give you a preview there of the Circuit of the Americas as well. It's going to be at Kota, of course, on Wednesday at 7:30 as well, before we get there for gold, silver and bronze there next week. So stay tuned to our